On this episode of the Star Trek Universe podcast, it is Star Trek Day, the 55th anniversary of the first airing of Star Trek. We're going to get into our reactions for all the announcements and trailers that dropped today, right after these continually uncontrolled words from these sponsors.
Welcome to the Star Trek Universe podcast, where you get to listen in to the conversation two lifelong friends have been having since they were 6 about Star Trek, that is.
Yeah. Well, about other things too. Let's face it.
We tend to wonder. My name is Matthew Carroll.
I'm David C. Robertson.
Hey, Davo. How you doing, bud?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right. It's been a long day of Star Trek for me.
Ooh, more than just the Star Trek Day announcement?
Well, the announcements were sort of couched in this live event thing that's been going on.
Yeah, I watched a bit of it.
I did not, by and large, I did not enjoy the live events. Like,
Sure.
some of the like the red carpet girls they kept going to, like the social media girls who were like on the red carpet just reading tweets from their phones. It was real bad. And they were just kind of talking over each other and just, you know, it was pretending to be excited about things. It felt like they may have been actually excited.
Right. Maybe they were huge fans, but also they might have just been social media strategists or like
one
whatever.
girl kept talking about how she wasn't a fan and how she's like, this is getting her excited to be a fan. And I'm like, what is happening here?
At least you know that's genuine. You know what I mean? Like, at least there's like no doubt that that's the truth, because it's a real stupid thing to say.
You know, it's just, I don't know, man. It was a lot of filler. Man, you know, I got
up top real quick. I know it's Star Trek Day. We got a lot of announcements to get to. I went to Dragon Con this week.
Yeah.
And, I told the story a little bit on the, Pandavision, where we're covering Orville right now. So, if you're following along, you might hear this twice, but man, just going into a Trek room, a panel of Trek fans, and they're like talking about just what Trek means to them. It was just a balm for my soul, man. Like hearing a bunch of Trek people talking about the characters that meant so much to them, and like, it made me think a lot about like how much Star Trek is just so important to me. And I've said it many times, but man, it's just really, really, really meaningful. And like hearing people talk about the different characters that meant so much to them and their different points of growing up, and how they all kind of coming together to have the mission that Starfleet has and the Federation has, just really meaningful to be in a room full of Star Trek fans at the con. So I gotta say, so thanks to Dragon Con for having me. As I checked out the Discovery panel, and I'm hoping to make an episode out of that. Some of the stuff that they said was kind of interesting. So we'll hopefully get to that in next week, maybe, since we got Star Trek Day today.
Well, hey, you know, if you know, we get into some Discovery stuff and you have any interesting points that they brought up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Most of what they talked about was more like what happened in previous seasons, so I don't know if it'll relate to the trailers or the stuff they talked about Discovery, but you know, it's still just fun and interesting. Yeah,
there wasn't a trailer
stuff
for Discovery.
That's right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive in, man. Let's talk about Star Trek Day.
Okay, so first of all, Will Wheaton talked with Alex Kurtzman about the future of Star Trek, and there was the normal amount of what I think of as obligatory praise of the optimistic future. But then Will asked, in addition to the 5 shows we know about, are you able to tease or discuss anything in Star Trek's future? And Kurtzman said, as much as we have 5 shows on the air, which is a miracle in its own way, we're not in a hurry, meaning we only want to put things on the air that we feel are worth it. For example, I know there's been a lot of conversation about Starfleet Academy, which we are very excited about. When we talk about there's this new generation and they're going to inherit the problems of the old generation, what are they going to do to make the world better, to solve it? How are we going to avoid the mistakes of our elders, and how are we going to learn from the wisdom of our elders? That's a really wonderful thing to consider when you think about something like Starfleet Academy. So I take it that Starfleet Academy and Section 31, based on what he's saying here, won't be a real plan until they pare down their in-production series. Most likely Picard, I imagine, will be the first out. But Starfleet Academy has been rumored for a while, and this is Alex actually acknowledging it. All right, so for Star Trek Prodigy, they released this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it looks great. I thought it looked great. Like the USS Protostar looks fantastic. The animation is gorgeous. I loved seeing the hologram of Janeway and like hearing Mulgrew's voice come out of that character is just, it was such an interesting and new way of seeing that character. I caught that we saw a member of the Kazon species.
Yeah, I saw the Kazon as well.
We got to hear John Noble in The Diviner, and we got to see his robot minion Dreadnought, Jimmy Simpson, and yeah, I enjoyed everything I saw about it. Like I saw, it looked like the Diviner's daughter Gwen was like all tied up on the bridge. So I'm curious it doesn't look like she's coming along on the journey of her own free will.
Oh, interesting. So she might be like one of the sort of the bad guys, as it were.
Yeah, maybe.
And then maybe ends up joining them by mistake, and then sort of probably will end up coming around to their side of things, I'm guessing.
Yeah, just an antagonist, not really a bad guy.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm talking in very simple terms. I mean, we're talking to Star Trek fans here. It's going to need to dumb it down a little bit, right?
I don't know. I have seen
it's a joke.
I have seen a lot of Star Trek fans that needed some stuff dumbed down for them. I gotta say.
See, I was making a joke. Now you're making it sound like I'm serious.
I mean, yes, you're joking. I'm serious. Like, remember the Kelvinverse movies? Remember when everybody was like, they rewrote everything. It didn't happen. The original series. Oh my God.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, a bunch of people were real pissed off in 2009 that this isn't anything like the timeline. Like, yeah, it's a different timeline. What the hell? They blew up Vulcan. That didn't happen. Like, yeah, it's a different timeline. This is Star Trek.
There's this whole line where Spock says, we're living in an alternate timeline.
There's a whole thing with time confusing. Travel and Captain Kirk's father dying and it's pretty clear pretty early on, different timeline.
So yeah, I love that, Dal said to fire the pew 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 buttons. And,
yeah, that was pretty great.
It looks like a lot of fun.
When they said we have phasers, for whatever reason that got me, it got me inspired somehow. I don't know why. It lit me up when the guy was like, we have phasers. I was like, yeah, you do. I don't know. It got me, man. Hit me in the heart somehow.
Yeah, man. I understand. But yeah, it looks like it arrives on Paramount Plus October 28th. So that is super soon.
That is so freaking soon.
Yeah.
Wow. And is it only on Paramount Plus?
Yeah, I think it will go to Paramount Plus first and then air on Nickelodeon.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So and we got to hear what is that guy's name? The guy that plays Rafi on The League. Jason Matsukas.
Okay.
We got to see. I can't. I always have such a hard time remembering his name.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's just in my head, I see just a jumble of letters. Or to Discovery.
Do you see words as you say them?
Yeah, I do.
Interesting. I don't at all.
That's weird.
Words are concepts to me. There's never a letter associated with them.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
I totally see. It's like a teleprompter in my head.
Interesting.
And if I stop
me at all.
If I stop talking, if I'm having trouble, it's it's in my head the teleprompter stopped. And nothing's coming up.
Very interesting. I don't have any visual representation of what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
We've been friends for all these years and we didn't know about this.
Let us know what you guys, let's take a poll of the audience. StarTrekUcast@gmail.com. Let us know if you have a teleprompter in your brain.
Yeah, Well, I'm curious. Am I weird?
Yeah, which of us
am I the asshole?
Just, if you have a teleprompter in your brain, the question is which one of us is weird. If you have a teleprompter in your brain, write in and just say Matt is weird. And if you don't, write in and just go give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and just say Dave is weird if you don't have a teleprompter in your brain, and say Matt is weird if you do. That's how you can give a 5-star review. And by the way, that also enters you in to win the contest for September. Start strandedpanda.com/contest. We every 5-star review for any Stranded Panda podcast this month could win a Nintendo Switch or a Oculus Quest. So if you're listening to this, you could win that. There's not that many people that listen to our shows, so like it's a pretty good deal. We're just trying to get our show more visibility. So
right,
strandedpanda.com/contest.
Yeah.
Just say Matt is weird or Dave is weird. I like this a lot. I hope we get like 40 reviews and they're just Matt is weird, Dave is weird, Matt is weird, Dave is weird.
Oh God.
That would be the best.
Oh, over to Star Trek Discovery, Thursday, November 18th on Paramount Plus. November 18th is when we're getting Discovery.
That's so soon. How many Lower Decks episodes are left?
I don't know.
Are these going to start piling up on top of each other? What are we going to do?
I'm okay with it, whatever it is. I'm just like, yes.
Wow.
Bring it.
That's wild, man. That's so soon. I'm starting to get real Marvel vibes over here. It's stressing me out a little.
Wilson Cruz said that they are going to make good on Culber's promise to get Gray a corporeal body. So in this coming season, like they did not have like a huge panel for Discovery, and I don't know. I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah, it's nice to not know too much, but like it's so soon. I'm surprised we don't have more.
Yeah, me too. And I'm just a little, a little confused. But I'm like, okay, I don't know what you guys got going on. I don't know. Like, maybe they don't want to, reveal too much. Maybe there's just too much spoilery material. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but this is by far the thing I was most excited about. The Strange New Worlds announcements.
Yeah, these were big. These are some big announcements. Well, let's break it down. Let's go character by character, right? We got we know the first three: Pike, Spock, and Una.
Right,
number one.
Una Chin Riley, which, by the way, that name has been used in some novels. It is now canon. Her full name, we knew Una, which we knew from the novels, but now they've actually just pulled the whole name right out of the books.
That's right.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's real cool.
And as Anson Mount pointed out on the panel, you're going to have number one interacting with Nurse Chapel for the first time ever.
Oh,
because in the original series, they were the same actress.
Yeah, so, that's a good point. That had not dawned on me. Interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, we got Celia Rose Gooding as Cadet Nyota Uhura, and
big man. Uhura's going to be in.
Really excited about that. And during the panel, Ethan Peck was adorable, by the way. Ethan Peck is like the Tom Holland of the Star Trek universe at this point, because he just kept giving spoilers. He just, before they even showed this little trailer, which I'll put in the show notes, by the way, but before they even showed the trailer announcing who all these people were playing, he already like made some comment about how there were other legacy characters on the show, and everyone was like, dude, and Akiva Goldsman was like, just dropping his head, just like, oh my god.
It's like you got this big, amazing trailer to try to like, yeah, that's really funny.
And then they point out that like the Nimoys are in the audience and they stand up and wave, and like he says they're gonna be on the show, and they're like, dude.
Wait, which Nimoys?
It was Adam Nimoy, and I couldn't make out who the other person was, honestly.
Okay. Are those
Adam is his
sons or Leonard's son? Okay.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Adam Nimoy is actually also married to Terry Farrell, Jadzia Dax.
Weird. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, they met doing a doc, so that's kind of neat.
Huh.
But yeah, Ethan Peck said that Spock was going to be getting into, attraction and the emotions of love and attraction. So, and Akiva Goldsman had said that, there were certain things, little relationship things they hinted at in the original series that we never got to see. So like, I'm going to go ahead and guess they're going to go the Kelvinverse route and
Uhura.
Yeah, Uhura and Spock, possibly.
Yeah, which, and that would be, according to this version, this is technically the prime timeline by their accounts. So understand, not by yours. So that would,
I'll go back and forth. I can see it being the prime timeline after the temporal war, as I've said.
Sure. So that would,
whatever,
allow for that to have happened before possibly the original series, and maybe they just were now just friends or whatever, how that works.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, so Jess Bush as Christine Chapel, and
that's real cool. And that just getting to really know those characters that like were more, not as focused on in the original series. That'll be really cool.
And also Babs Olusanmokun is playing Dr. Mbenga, who was also in the original series. Very excited to see that.
That's real cool.
And then we have new people.
Yeah, one of these is really fascinating to me.
Very fascinating. I'll leave that one for the last.
We
have Bruce Horak as Himmer, who appears to be an Anar, one of the subspecies of Andorian that was introduced in the Enterprise. That's neat. Melissa Navia as Lieutenant Erica Ortegas. Don't know that person. But Christina Chong is playing La'an Noonien-Singh.
What?
Noonien-Singh? Like Khan Noonien-Singh?
Yeah.
Like, we don't have any idea who this person is.
So I'm guessing they would be most likely a descendant of Khan or, something to that effect, but we just don't know. Like, will she be altered? Will she be secretly altered? A la Julian Bashir, what does that mean? Will she be a descendant of an alter, which will give her some abilities? Like, will that somehow tie into her storyline, or is that just going to be like a little nod to the past? I'm fascinated by that one. Just the fact that her name is Noonien-Singh, and it's just like, well, that clearly they're drawing some connection there.
Yeah, I definitely want to know what's going on there. And by the way, I'm loving the new hairstyles, the new uniforms. It's a fresh take. I wasn't crazy about the TOS style or their take on the TOS style uniforms in season 2 of Discovery. So I'm liking these more. I think they look a little more streamlined, a little more fresh. So I'm digging the differences here.
Cool.
Not that any of that matters, but I just liking what they're putting down.
It matters, It's what, I mean, as much as anything does, yes, I care more for characters and this and that. Like, I care more about what the story of the show is gonna tell me. But, like I said, just got back from Dragon Con, and I'm like, on the elevator with a guy, and we're just like discussing the uniform he's wearing and why he chose that era uniform to wear, and this is all stuff we care about. Maybe we shouldn't, but we do.
Well, I'm an artist. I draw a lot. I care about what the uniform, just like on DC on Screen. I'm always excited to see what the next year's costumes are going to look like. Their uniforms and whatnot on all the DC stuff. And I'll bring up something, and I'm like, oh man, Barry doesn't have the chin strap, or oh, Barry got the chin strap back, or whatever it is. And Jason's like, I didn't notice. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I was just telling, I think it was Ashley. I was telling Ashley Coffin on, we were talking on one of the shows, Bingers Assemble, I think, and I was telling her about how you care so much about the different, like little things in the ship designs and stuff. And I was like, yeah, well, you got to think about, like, he grew up drawing those ships and those things, like, all the time. And, like, they were something that fascinated him, and he, like, knew every little difference between every little ship. And so it's like, yeah, those things are important to him, Whereas I could really care less as long as it, like, kind of looks like that ship, which most of Starfleet, like, looks similar enough. I was looking at this ship from Prodigy, and I was like, is that supposed to be Voyager? Like, it's kind of shaped like it a little bit, I guess. I'd buy it. Yeah. And you're like, no, it's not.
They have Kelvin versus nacelles.
It's really funny. They have Kelvin versus nacelles.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the. I remember years ago I was talking to our friend Ryan, who's in the Air Force, and I started talking about nacelles, the nacelles of the Enterprise. And he was like, do you know the word nacelle? And I was like, you know the word nacelle? And he reminded me that he was in the Air Force. I was like, oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the guy that designed the Enterprise was, in the Air Force, so that probably makes sense. Really, he would give the Enterprise a nacelle. Yeah.
Was there anything else on that we wanted to touch on? I know that's basically all they said in the announcements.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything else like that I know of. Right. They reiterated that they are going to be doing, much more episodic storytelling on Strange New Worlds.
Okay. I've been saying that since they announced the show, that like, that is likely what that show is about, because it's called Strange New Worlds, and something that we haven't gotten from Star Trek lately is a ship that goes to new worlds each week,
Right. And Anson Mount said, in a show like this, it's the idea of the week, so the real star of the show is the Enterprise.
Right. Well, and and I want to get into this Picard trailer, but real quick, I guess let's touch on Lower Decks, because it ties into that. Like, Lower Decks trailer looks funny. Can we go to Picard now?
I do want to say they have friggin' ballroom dancing just like on the Enterprise D.
Yeah.
I saw Mirror Universe, or what looked like Mirror Universe Mariner fighting Mirror Universe Shax. I am very pleased with how much they reference the original animated series.
Yeah.
Because we saw a Pandronian character who was introduced in the animated series, and that's the person that their head flying around.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know the reference, but that's cool.
Lots of references here. We've got the engine room / engineering uniform from Star Trek 2. We've got movie era Constitution class ship exploding. And my favorite thing I think was Mariner and her mom being like, I think we're in trouble. Haha, this is not good. Like, they're so excited about danger.
Yeah. It's interesting to see the relationship developing between her and her mom, because it's like, okay, now we're working together. Nope, that's not working. What are we going to do? But they're also like understanding they're more similar than they thought. And that's so I like that they're diving more into the relational stuff. 'Cause it gives it that overarching thing that the show needs to have a heart, I guess.
Absolutely. And of course, I love what exactly is the difference between a phaser and the phaser rifle? They take two hands.
Yeah, that was real silly. Real silly. And I love that the show isn't scared to sort of call out actual Star Trek. Like,
yeah,
cause that's true. There's really, like, we don't really know the difference, and like, there's no need. We see the more militarized, complement on the ship often carrying phaser rifles, and it's like, okay, but is there a difference? No? Okay, good to know. Yeah. I mean, I just always assume they're more powerful, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's what Kirk took to fight Gary Mitchell in the second pilot, so I mean, yeah, I assume there's got to be something to them.
Okay, so that's, yeah, like I said, looks funny. Let's move on to Picard. And I'm just teasing. You got anything else on that?
No,
Okay.
actually.
Let's do it.
Sure.
What do you think of the Picard trailer?
Let's see. I laughed heartily. Well, I squealed
Interesting.
when you said, "Remember the last time we spoke?" I said, "The
Trial is never over.
The game never ends. Not the game. The trial never ends." Then, Picard says, "I am way too old for your bullshit," and he snaps him away.
Yeah, that was funny.
I laughed at that, and then everything else, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, it's like I'm super excited to see Picard.
Mm-hmm. And Q.
That's actually what I meant. I don't know why I said Picard. I am super excited to see Picard, but I'm really I meant Q. But here's the problem with, I think, Picard so far, and I'm worried about the season 2 because I feel like it might fall victim already to the same problem. And what makes Star Trek so interesting is this, in its episodic forms, is that every episode is a big idea, right? Mm-hmm. So you have 10 chances. If you have 10 episodes, you have 10 chances to hit it out of the park. They used to make 26 episodes or whatever the hell, and it was 26 episodes, and you get those 3 amazing ones, then that season is a success. You know what I mean? A lot of good ones, but then there's one best of both worlds that blows your mind, and you're like, oh, yeah. Season 3, man, it's great. What are you laughing?
I just the concept, because I don't think I ever did that, where I was just like, man, that one episode was great. What a great season.
Well, but you can think back on
a great episode.
You think back on a season of Star Trek and you go, what's in season 3? And you start naming episodes that's in season 3 and you go, oh, that's a pretty good season. You know what I mean? Yeah. You don't have to bat 1,000 to do it perfect.
Right. No, you don't.
You can have a few filler episodes. Not that I like filler episodes, but and still you basically just get more chances at bat is all I'm saying. And
sure.
With a show like this, and with the first season it was this way, and I'm feeling like this is looking similar. It's they got one shot. It's they're telling us one big idea story. Yeah. At least that's what they did with the first season. And the big idea was this planet with this group, the Zhat Vash, and this group of androids that are based on data. And that's the story they decided to tell. And that's just one. There were a lot of little stories that tied into it. They did do episodic stuff, but everything tied toward this one story. And if that one story doesn't tie up well, you've shot yourself in the foot, because then the entire thing kind of unravels, And I love serialized storytelling, but Star Trek's always about these big ideas, and I think it sort of suffered in Picard season 1, and it worries me for Picard season 2 that it looks like they're doing this time travel. We know the future, something is wrong in the future, so we have to go to the past, because they've done that so many times. I don't know how they're going to do that in a way that keeps it fresh and interesting. And so I'm a little worried about Picard season 2. And I am so sad to say that, because I'm freaking excited for it. And I'm so excited for Q. And the fact that they're telling what looks like one big story, where not only are they showing us the future, like a dark future that they have to go back and change, which is 15 Star Trek episodes, not to mention every season of Runaways, every season of Umbrella Academy, every season of Heroes, so many of these genre shows are that's what they do. They show you a dark future, then you have to work to prevent it.
Terminator franchise.
Yeah. It's so many.
Yeah.
So the thing, and then not only are they doing that, but they're also doing the thing that they do on Star Trek at least 4 times, where they're going back to right now. 21st century. It's really? You're doing that again? That old chestnut?
Yeah. I mean, it is, it's at this point a tradition.
Yeah.
They did it in the original series. They did it in, Star Trek 4. Mm-hmm. They did it in, Voyager with, friggin',
99.
Whatever the hell that episode was called. With Sarah Silverman.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I guess, so far, this trailer feels incredibly done to me. Mm-hmm. It feels very, I've seen this before.
It feels like First Contact. It feels like,
Yeah, that's another one. First Contact.
First Contact, yeah. So at the point where Q went back in time and turned our world into a totalitarian nightmare, I went, okay.
Yeah, they have 12 movies and 2 of them are this plot.
Yeah, I felt like the Q went back in time. You're just doing yesterday's Enterprise. Except you're making Q the reason for it. Okay.
Yeah, you're also doing the one with the City at the Edge of Forever.
Sort of.
Right?
I mean, kind of. Yeah, but, that was a much more, I feel like, character, focused situation.
What's the thing is, like, I think this could be that. This could be an amazing character-based story, but the big idea they're going with, the episode, basically what they're doing every season of Picard, it seems like they're taking an episode and just stretching it out over the whole season. And so if you miss with that one episode idea, if you miss the big idea, you kind of fail on the whole season. And that's kind of a bummer.
And I'm not trying to crap on it. I'm honestly not.
I hear it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to, like, I'd like to be excited. We did get word that they're officially coming back for season 3. So, hopefully they're going to continue telling a bigger story. But yeah, I have to admit, when I saw the, futures, a totalitarian nightmare, they're back in the 21st century. I'll admit I was also prepared for this because I've seen they released a poster that was quite literally 21st century, LA, I think.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah. So, I'm sort of just, okay, well, I guess we'll see. I loved seeing the Borg Queen. I saw a lot of people because they announced that the Borg Queen was happening. Is Annie Wershing playing, or not Alice Krieger or Susanna Thompson from Voyager? So this is a new Borg Queen, or a new actress at the very least.
Right.
I think it was interesting. One of the things that got me really excited looking at this trailer is there is a scene where we see the Borg Queen, like, sort of cradling Jurati's face.
Yes, I saw that too.
I couldn't help but think, what if we have this woman who is, Jurati, who was an expert on sentient life? What if they're going back? They use the Borg Queen to go back in time to the 21st century. The Borg Queen freaking assimilates Jurati. She leaves and goes out into space on her own in the 21st century and becomes the original Borg Queen.
You remember we had this conversation before, right?
No.
Yes, we made an image, one of our episodes prior to Picard, after one of the first Picard trailers and first Picard announcements. We said how much Jurati looked like the Borg Queen, and we had a conversation about her possibly being somehow related to or becoming the Borg Queen. And we even, I think the episode, I think we put an image as, the image was the two of them side by side, and said,
I don't think I did that, but
no. Okay. Maybe I did it. I don't know. Maybe not for the episode. It might have been something we just posted online, but we definitely had this exact conversation 2 years ago. That Jurati looks so much like the Borg Queen, and it made us think yeah, what if they're doing something with that? And that shot definitely made me think that. And even if it's not that, even if it's not I think your theory is awesome. The fact, because they are going to the 21st century makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But also just Jurati, stop being lured to the dark side.
Man, it's her nature,
Right. That's she's so sweet and seeming, but she really went off the deep end last season. Yeah. And now she's doing this, and is she gonna go off the deep end again? Is she gonna join up with the Borg?
I feel like I've said this a number of times lately, but Rupert Thorne in Batman the Animated Series said it best: the brighter the picture, the darker the negative.
Ooh, yeah. It's a good line. It's a good line.
Such a good line.
What a fucking great show the animated series is.
But yeah, February 2022 is when we're going to be able to start seeing this season.
Wow. Dude, that's so fucking soon too. That's 3 We're in the middle of a season of Star Trek right now. We've got 2 more seasons of Star Trek starting this year, and a 4th in February. And we don't have a date on. Wait, no, Discovery's in November. That's one of the 2.
Yeah, Discovery's in November.
And we don't have a date on Strange New Worlds, though.
That's right.
Okay, that's the one. I knew I was missing one. Yeah, dude. Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Dude.
I didn't know it was going to be that. I feel like it shouldn't count.
I'm just really excited. That's just a lot of Star Trek coming really fast. And as much as, I don't know, I had such a great time just spending time with other people who love this stuff like I do. Dragon Con was a really, really great time. I don't know. I just hadn't been around people much in the last 2 years or whatever. And being around people that just love this stuff like I do. It really was incredibly encouraging and just reminded me of what I love about Star Trek so much. And yeah, it was great, man.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it really was. It was super nice. And I can't wait to do more of that. I also got to play some of my Star Trek songs for a crowd of people that knew what I was talking about.
That's always nice.
It was super nice. Yeah, it was great. Well, that's all the news, right?
That's it. That's all I've got.
Man, good job. Thank you for bringing all the news, Dave.
Oh, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. I always have a good time talking about this stuff with you. And I'm sorry to anybody who was upset that we didn't like the Picard trailer more. I'm not feeling it yet. I want to. I
really want to. This is not a desire to shit on this show. I really want to love the shit out of it. I want to just absolutely love it. And
he doesn't want to shit on it. He wants to love the shit out of it.
That's right. You gotta, sorry, I don't know.
I forgot we were just audio, so I'm over here I'm doing a.
Are you rubbing your nipples? You were rubbing your nipples, right?
No, that was for the entirety of the rest of the show. This time, I was making sort of a scooping the shit out motion with my hand.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just excited. There's so much Star Trek, and I'm not going to judge it too harshly based on one trailer. I'm worried about it, but mostly I'm worried about it because of how I'm worried about it because I didn't like the end of season 1, and it kind of soured all of season 1 for me. And I'm worried we'll get a similar thing where I'll love all the characters they build and the world we see and all this stuff, and then they're gonna not stick the landing, and it'll feel that entire season feels sort of darkened by things in the last episode that I didn't like. Certain choices they made, and which I have litigated over and over. But just bums me out.
You know what helps me come to peace with the story they decided to tell?
What's that?
Just the sentence, "It was better than Nemesis."
Yeah, no, I disagree.
Oh, that's a shame.
In one major way, and that is fucking Data's death. Really bothers me a lot.
I'm fine with it. I'm good with it now. I've made my peace with it.
Haven't made my peace. I also haven't thought about it much since. I just kind of let it go. But whenever I think about that season, I just can't help but be Data. What? There's just so many things they could have done there.
What's more human than dying? And experiencing death. I think that's what they were thinking.
Yeah, probably getting a human body and finally understanding emotions and sense of touch and having full range of that's more human. Not wanting to die is more human.
in some ways. But you're still young yet,
Sure. And then even that's sad to me. The fact that he spent so much time in this little in this little room that he felt like killing himself. Please turn me off. Life is torture is basically what happened.
One of the things that came out of the pandemic was me seeing people's reaction to being in quarantine on Twitter, and me going, "Oh, Data's effectively been in quarantine for 18 years. Of course he wants to die.
Well, that's the other thing is we didn't get a good sense of like, what has he been doing in those 18 years? Is he just sitting in that room for 18 years by himself, or is he like communicating with, it seemed like he had some communication with his children, but they didn't really explain how much or how it worked, or I felt like
they were just one-word text messages, which was, of course, incredibly frustrating for any father. It's just... but you can't pick up the phone like a person?
Yeah, that's my biggest problem with season 1. It's just like Data's choice bothers me a lot because I don't think it's what his character arc led to in any way. Like, sure, the idea of dying is beautiful, but like I would have rather him have died. Like, they could have had all this rebirth of... I mean, see, here I go relitigating it, but like basically my problem is, and for those of you who didn't hear us talk about season 1, if you're coming back, my problem is that like Data's death was better in Nemesis because he sacrificed himself for his friends. That was a very human, very like really beautiful way for him to go. That sacrifice was. And like left this scar on Picard where he has to think about Data every day and all this stuff. Like, and then for his children to go on living past him like this is also a beautiful idea. But instead of like, they took like 10 minutes, 15 minutes out of the finale where we're supposed to be living with this moment of the future to spend with Data and sort of like muddy his storyline in a weird way and take time away from telling the storyline of his children. It just felt like the whole last episode was a real failure in my mind. I just really just hated it. And there's a number of things that I'm sure if I went back, I'd probably even remember more, but there's a number of things I really didn't like, but that was the thrust of it. It's like, pick a story and tell it and let it be that. I felt like Data's... I think
they did. You just didn't like it.
I feel like Data's appearance, his entire appearance was just like kind of this fan service / like, I don't know, paying homage to Data instead of like telling the story that they were telling, you know, Data's the whole Data of it all. And I said this at the time, but like they should have, if they were going to do what they did, they should have put his experience with Data in the penultimate episode just because they take so much time out of the finale to just sit with Data. And it's like, I don't know. It bothered me. Clearly bothered me for years now.
Yeah, no, I've moved on.
Not me. Never.
It's like, I also, you know, I'm willing to see, we know Brent Spiner is coming back in some capacity, so I'm willing to see what else they do. Like, I would like to see what else they do and judge the entire show as a whole, because they are, you know, mapping out, they've been talking about doing 3 seasons.
Sure.
Since the beginning, so.
Yeah. I'm with you. Like, I'm willing to go I'm still with the show. I'm still going to watch it. Still going to
sure
really try my best to love it. I really want to.
I mean, I'm not going to try that hard. If I don't like it, I don't like it. You know, but yeah,
I'll try. It's Star Trek. I will give it more chances than I will give most things, you know? If it's some show that I don't care about at all, I'll watch a couple episodes and turn it off. But with Star Trek, I'm going to give it to the end of the season if it's the worst thing I've ever seen.
It might be the worst thing you've ever seen, and you'll watch season 3 too.
Oh, yeah, most likely. I wonder you know, I often make this, I really like this question when you're talking to a friend, like, what could I do to you? Like, could I do this to you and we still like maintain our relationship? Like, what's it's and like the joke is like, if I walked up to you with like no explanation, no real apology and just punched you in the face, that's the joke we used to make, is like, at what would cross the line? It's like, I mean, yeah, I'd be upset, but I guess we'd still be friends. We've been friends for, you know, 30 years or whatever. Like, surely. It's like,
I think it would depend on if there ever was an explanation.
Right. Well, what if there never was? Just like, did a really awful thing. Like you just, it's that the joke is like, how bad of a thing could someone do and still maintain a relationship? And like, I with Star Trek, like what would they have to do to like really get me gone? Like, what would they have to do to like make me leave the fandom?
Yeah, I don't know.
Completely. It would take a lot.
It would take an extraordinary amount for me, I think.
If nothing else, I would still continue to love what I love about the past of Star Trek. But
thinking about the friendship, though, like, I think you could punch, you just walk up to me with no explanation and punch me, and I'd be pissed for a while. But I think, like, that human need to, like, throw context in, I'd be like, he's had a rough couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You just need somebody to punch.
I
get it.
I feel the same way. If you punched me, well, I'd be upset, but I'd get over it.
However, if I was like sitting there about to eat a sandwich, like a really good sandwich, like from Firehouse or something, and you just like walked up and like took it from me,
okay,
and laughed at me and walked away eating it, I'd probably never speak to you again.
Interesting.
I'm like, look, if he just needs to hit something, I understand, but he took my sandwich.
Sandwich levels of friends. Like that's all we've got. We've got a sandwich level friendship. Firehouse subs. Like a $12 sandwich would ruin our friendship.
Yeah, you can insult my intelligence.
I often do.
You do, yeah. And likewise, you can, talk shit about me, and you often do. You can, threaten me with physical harm. That's just what being friends is about.
That's friends in 2021.
I mean, it's like that. There's that great episode of that 70s show where Kelso was angry at Hyde for laughing at him when he falls off the water tower and breaks his arm. And he's like, Kelso, do you remember when I did this and got hurt and the dog bit me when we were like 9? And like Kelso just starts howling. And he's like, yeah, you laughed. And why did you laugh? And Kelso's like, because it's funny when friends get hurt. Exactly. So it's like that. But, I paid $12 for this sandwich. Don't screw with my sandwich, man. What are you talking about? Like if you just need to hit somebody, okay, but don't take my sandwich.
Yeah.
I saved carbs for that sandwich.
Oh, man. Well, brother, it's good to chat with you about Star Trek as always. And
yeah, man.
I guess we'll be back on here in a couple of days to do a Lower Decks episode that's dropping at 2 a.m., but I can't stay up that late tonight.
Yeah, no, I'd actually be down for it, but yeah.
I wish I could, but I've got so much to edit already, and I can't get it. I just can't stay up tonight.
I hear you.
Still recovering from a hard con.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not a hard. It was wonderful, but it's very, 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 very tiring. I'm tired, Dave.
I understand, man.
Cool, man. Well, again, hey, if you guys get a chance to tell us which one of us is weird with a 5-star review, that'd be really nice. And if you want the rules on that contest, go over to strandedpanda.com/contest. Basically any Stranded Panda podcast you review enters you in to win a Nintendo Switch or a Oculus Quest 2. So pretty cool. We're just doing this one big prize to just try to encourage people to check out more of our shows and also to give us reviews so that we get more visibility. So we find more people that like this kind of stuff that we make. So,
or if you want to, when you give the review, you can just tell us, what it would take for us.
Ooh.
To make you stop listening.
Yeah.
Unless, of
that's
course.
Good too.
Actually, especially, I was going to say unless, but no, especially if that thing is hearing Matt bitch about Picard again.
Can't promise it'll change what I'll do, but, it would be nice to know, I guess, if I'm nearing that point with a lot of the audience.
I feel like we might get some people who are just like, okay, if Dave bitches about the aesthetic changing from TOS or Matt bitches about the ending for Picard season 1 more time, I'm out. I don't care about toggle switches. I don't care when Data died.
I feel like we gave both of those issues like a good wide berth lately. Like we hadn't talked about them in a while. It was good. It was good to revisit. It was good to get a Picard season 2 trailer so I could bitch about season 1 again. You know, feels nice.
That's not what it was for.
Feels nice.
Cathartic, even. It's like a weight has been lifted from my soul.
All right. Love you guys. Jolan True.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.